Interesting times once again for the Gulf Cooperation Council. The sell-off we saw in Qatari stocks, again, down over 2% again in the last trading day. It was now down over 12.7% just this month. That's shaken up things a little bit because we've seen a rally in Saudi stocks in the interim. We've put this up on a chart for our clients to pull up on the Bloomberg. G-Space, hashtag BTD720 in terms of what has happened to some of these price-to-earnings ratios because it's been put on its head. You can see your white line right there. That's your Saudi PE ratio, which off the back of that EM consideration from the MSCI has grown quite a bit to 17.6. You can see the blue line, the correction for Qatari PEs, and then your yellow line, that's just a reference on where Turkish PE for the exchange there is. How do you approach putting money to work now?
Okay, so this is actually the thing that we've been talking to our clients for the past month. So if you look at Qatar yesterday, it was actually down at 4% at some point. And a lot of clients have been asking us over the past few weeks, well, is it actually time to invest in Qatar? Is it time to invest in Qatar? But simply don't know how is this rift going to end. And it's still taking time. If you look at the market yesterday, locals have been trying to support it, but foreigners have been completely away from the market. I think it's still very difficult to say, you know what, Qatar is looking attractive today, even if it's down 12%, and you should be buying it today. However, given the news this morning, I think you might have a small bounce, but that's going to be very short-lived until we actually get the news on how Qatar is going to respond to that 48-hour deadline.
So your recommendation to clients is not to buy on the dip?
Stay away.
I
wouldn't buy on the dip.
And what does that do to Saudi Arabia in terms of the strategy there?
Okay, if you look at the markets so far, it has been in isolation of Qatar. And it should be. So fundamentally, the Saudi market is not really affected by Qatar. UAE is not really affected by Qatar. If you've seen, Saudi had actually a lot of catalysts on its own, whether it's the MSCI consideration, as you put it, or oil prices, which has been supporting. So all these catalysts are actually helping Saudi in the short term. Longer term, again, fundamentally, even if it gets worse with Qatar, as long as it's still contained, I don't think that's going to affect the Saudi market.
All right, Ahmed, I mean, it sounds like it's risk off for foreign investors. For local investors, you're still in the markets. If you are there as domestic retail investor, what do you get into? Which sectors are more protected in this blockade than others?
Okay, if we're talking about Qatar, unfortunately, Qatar is just a basket case. So it's either you invest in Qatar or you don't invest in Qatar. So I wouldn't be looking at sectors in Qatar at all to hedge myself. However, if you look at Saudi, again, what is the main catalyst? It's the potential MSCI inclusion is just on the watch list. Again, it's a short-term trade, as I mentioned on the show before. It's not really a long-term trade yet. So you will be looking at the sectors that are going to be heavyweights in MSCI. So that's basically petrochemicals and banks maybe, and a bit of consumers.